The Great American Betrayal, Donald Trump's War on Ordinary People. This is my my op-ed today over at HartmannReport.com. Trump represents the most recent and destructive, frankly, iteration of the American right. In fact, in a way, this goes back to the old Confederacy, which was built on right-wing oligarchy and racism. And then, in the 1960s, when the Democratic Party abandoned the Klan and embraced the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, the Republicans said, hey, Southern strategy time. Let's pick up these white races, particularly in the South. And so here we are. Trump, a lifelong racist, he was ideally suited to lead this new Republican movement. He exclusively serves whoever pays the biggest bribes, either in cash, 747s, or votes. And today those people are mostly the big monopolistic businesses, the morbidly rich, foreign dictators, so-called Christian hustlers, and the Republican base of male, white, supremacist racists. Lyndon Johnson famously said of Richard Nixon's Law and Order racism campaign, he said, quote, "If you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, he'll empty your pockets for you. His pockets for you." This has been the Republican Party's mantra for over 50 years. And Trump has turned it into an art form. I mean, while the party's tax and anti-union policies have transferred $50 trillion. Now, that's what we know of as of 2021. According to Robert Reich, it's now $80 trillion. It's a mind-boggling amount of money. From the middle class into the money bins of the top 1%, or the top 1/100th of 1%, or 1/1000th of 1%, just since Reagan's inauguration. This is why the middle class has gone from being 2/3 of us down to 47% of us. And, Trump-loving white racists continue to vote for him and the Republicans because he's working so hard, they are working so hard to disempower women and black people and push brown people out of the country. Just consider what Trump and his toadies have done just recently. I mean, just in the last 8 months. They fired over 8,000 Social Security workers so that your experience with Social Security will be a living hell. So when they come along and say, hey, Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan would like to take over Social Security, you say, please. They've forced people, starting 2 months after the 2026 midterms, to requalify for Medicaid every 6 months. Most people wouldn't even maintain a driver's license if every 6 months you had to go down to the DMV. They've destroyed unions across America. Most recently, Trump stripped union representation from 400,000 federal workers, leading to a collapse in wages and benefits. They've stripped our public schools of funding, moving those resources to whites only and religious academies. They've left America so awash in guns that we're the only country in the world outside of Gaza where the leading cause of death among children is bullets. They've killed off research into mRNA vaccines that were showing great promise to prevent and even cure cancer because Bob Kennedy is a quack. He's not a doctor, he's a lawyer. They ended free and inexpensive college education, making America the only country in the world with $1.5 trillion in student debt, crushing an entire generation. When's the last time you checked on your home title? That's the legal proof you own your house. The problem is, in today's AI and cyber world, scammers are stealing home titles, and your equity is their target. Criminals forge your signature on one document, and boom, your home title has been transferred out of your name. Then they take out loans using your equity or even sell your property, and you won't even know it's happened until you get a collection or foreclosure notice. That's why you need to stop what you're doing and find out today if you're already a victim. Use the promo code TOM14, THOM14, at HomeTitleLock.com to make sure that your title is still in your name. You'll also get a free title history report plus a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud should happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Use the promo code TOM14. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code TOM14. They've ruined America's soft power around the world by shutting down USAID, leading to the deaths of millions, mostly in Africa, while China and Russia pick up our former allies. They've betrayed our democratic ally Ukraine by withholding new weapons for 8 months now, while sucking up to Putin and openly taking Putin's side. They've embraced autocratic and dictatorial regimes around the world while dissing our democratic allies. They've politicized our military, something George Washington warned loudly against, and every president since Jefferson has done his best to avoid. They've corrupted our courts and prosecutors by appointing unqualified Fox News stars and others, including people credibly accused of sexual assault, taking bribes, and engaging in a coup attempt. They've established new standards for criminality and self-dealing in office. They've corrupted America's reputation as a beacon of democracy for the rest of the world. They've intimidated the media, law firms, and corporate leaders into going along with creeping fascism while demanding from them bribes and tribute to the Trump crime family. They've frozen money appropriated by Congress for green energy projects that would reduce climate change and cancer-causing pollution. They've pitted Americans against each other while whipping up hysteria around race and religion. They've betrayed Jesus and the founders of the rest of the world's major religions by embracing corrupt preachers and politicizing churches. And they put masked armed thugs on the streets of America to terrorize people and turn our country into a police state. All in the service of the richest among us and the Trump crime family. And to the detriment of average working Americans who are, to paraphrase Lyndon Johnson, emptying their pockets for Trump, the GOP, and the billionaire social media moguls. So what's it going to take for average working people, to stand up to this? Well, one of the things that we know from history is that roughly every 80 years, America experiences a massive crash followed by a severe war and a progressive renewal. You had the crash of 1771, followed by the American Revolution, which resolved in 1789. You had the Panic of 1856, followed by the Civil War, 80 years later. 80 years after that, you had the Republican Great Depression, followed by World War II. And this year, it's been exactly 80 years since the end of World War II. And Trump's, incoherent and phony and unconstitutional proclamation of a phony economic emergency in order to impose tariffs is threatening to crash our economy again, just like in the Panic of 1771, just like in the Panic of 1856, just like in the Republican Great Depression of 1929. ICE raids have led to produce rotting in our fields, giving us a 38% increase in the price of vegetables at the wholesale level this month, or last month. I mean, combine the very real probability that he's driving us into a recession, maybe even a depression, with his dangerous anti-democratic foreign policy, which seems to be rooted in just, giving whichever country gives him the biggest bribes, whether it's cash or a real estate development or a 747 or whatever, plus whatever Vladimir Putin demands of him. All this could very easily lead to a 1930s, 1940s crash and war kind of scenario. I mean, China takes Taiwan, Putin takes Ukraine, India goes to war with Pakistan, Israel attacks Iran, Trump dithers and impotently threatens. And here we are in a major crisis. Is that what it's going to take to wake up the average voter? Like it did in the 1940s? Or will Trump, Putin, and Orban finally succeed in taking America down the Russia-Hungary road from oligarchy to outright authoritarian fascism before the 2028 presidential election? To the extent that we can still speak out, that we can still participate in our political systems, that we're willing to fight for a return to the egalitarian democracy of the New Deal and the Great Society, our future is still largely in our own hands. Get out there, get active, tag, we're it.